सभी साथियों को मेरा नमस्कार। स्वागत है आप सबका आज 4 अक्टूबर के इंडियन एक्सप्रेस एनालिसिस में। आइए शुरू करते हैं आज का इंडियन एक्सप्रेस एनालिसिस। पहले पेज पे कई खबरों के बीच में एक खबर हमारी फाइनेंस फील्ड से है। सेंसेक्स निफ्टी फॉर ओवर 2% ऑन न्यू एफ&ओ वेस्ट एशिया। Investors lose rupees 9.78 lakh crores in a single day. Domestic stock market indices Sensex and Nifty crashed Thursday by over 2% each, the biggest fall in almost 2 months due to escalating geopolitical tension in West Asia. Recent norms by SEBI to curb speculative trading in the F&O segment and continued outflows for FPIs also spooked the market, resulting in heavy selling. जैसे कि हम जानते हैं कि F&O में लगातार इन्वेस्टर्स को हो रहे नुकसान को देखते हुए सेबी ने टफ डिसीजन लिया कि F&O में एंट्री रिस्ट्रिक्शंस बहुत बढ़ा दिए हैं, एंट्री बैरियर्स ऊंचे कर दिए हैं। इस चक्कर में मार्केट में डर सा थोड़ा सा माहौल चला गया, तो मार्केट स्पेकुलेशंस होते हैं। हालांकि इट वाज स्टेबलाइज्ड बिकॉज ऑन द अल्टीमेट गुड F&O नीड्स टू बी डिस्करेज्ड अमंग द कॉमन मासेस। Moving forward, UK cedes Chagos Islands sovereignty to Mauritius, keeps base. India hails deal. Britain on Thursday agreed to cede sovereignty of Chagos Islands and archipelago over 60 islands in the Indian Ocean to Mauritius in a deal to secure the future of strategically important UK-US military base on Diego Garcia, the largest in the chain of islands. For the first time in over 50 years, the status of the base will be undisputed and legally secure, following a political agreement between UK and Mauritius. India welcomed the agreement, saying it completes the decolonization of Mauritius. Moving forward to the further articles coming from the army, challenges to maintain G&K peace not in favor of dilution of grid. GOC, जनरल ऑफिसर कमांडिंग श्रीनगर बेस 15 कॉप्स, जम्मू कश्मीर को लेकर अपना एक कमेंट्री दी। आगे बढ़ते हैं, चलते हैं मेन आर्टिकल्स की ओर। The long arm income tax should address alleged tax transactions, not raise foreign bogies or behave like a corporate hired gun. The IT department cracked down on the 5 NGOs, including one of the country's most respected public policy think tank, Center for Policy Research. The Center for Policy Research seeks disquieting overreach. It is a heavy-handed bid to shrink spaces for free expression and civil society action in democracy. कहीं ना कहीं आरोप लगाया जा रहा है कि जो NGOs ओपनली काम करते हैं, फ्रीली काम करते हैं, उनको डराने धमका के कंट्रोल करने का प्रयास करा जा रहा है. As a report in this paper has shown, the intimation letters issued to the NGOs are loose and voluminous, straying far beyond the IT department's remit. On the other one hand, they seek to weaponize the rule book fine print against the target NGO. मतलब कि ये नोटिस जो भेज रहे हैं, ये बिल्कुल ऐसा लग रहा है कि कोई एजेंसी नहीं, पीछे कोई और लोग बैठा है, वो लिख के दे रहा है. There are several pointed references to foreign funding, unsubstantiated allegations that it was being misused for at very least activities contrary to the objectives for which the NGOs were formed. मतलब अब हम बात करें कायदे में, पेपर में बात कर क्या रहे हैं. असल में जो नोटिस भेजे गए हैं उसमें ये आरोप लगाया गया है कि जो NGOs को जिस काम के लिए पैसा भेजा गया है, जो ग्रांट रिसीव कर रहे हैं, वो ग्रांट जैसे कि रिसर्च के लिए और अपने इनिशिएटिव्स के लिए, उसकी जगह वो कोई ना कोई अलग कामों में लगा दिया जा रहा है. ठीक है ना. तो इनकम टैक्स ने ये हाईलाइट करते हुए सारे NGOs को तलब करा है कि आप ये कर क्या रहे हैं. यहीं पे NGOs की तरफ से ये आ रहा है कि NGOs को डराने के लिए, उनकी लिबर्टी, फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन को दबाने के लिए ऐसे प्रयास करे जा रहे हैं गवर्नमेंट एजेंसीज के द्वारा. Several concerns are sparked by IT department's bid to squeeze the living spaces of these NGOs by surveys, summons and bulky notices in tandem with the freeze on inflow of foreign funds through suspension of the FCRA registration. हम तो जानते हैं कि अब तो FCRA का रजिस्ट्रेशन भी कैंसिल हो सकता है आपका, अगर आप ऐसी गतिविधियों में पाए गए हैं. आगे बढ़ते चलते हैं. It is true prolonged attack that is designed to wound if not kill to begin with. मतलब इसे फॉरेन एजेंसीज से जो ग्रांट वगैरह मिलते हैं डिस्करेज हो जाएंगे आज नहीं तो कल, जब इंडिया में इतना स्ट्रिक्ट होल्ड रहने वाला है गवर्नमेंट का. The department must be reined by those who pull its strings. The NGOs must be allowed to do their work without constantly looking over their shoulders. The country's coal mines and thermal power plant projects, the IT department seems to be so protected. What will go on? Development is not threatened by the people. Electricity does not require tax administrations. Surely, corporates like Adani Group and JSW, the two named these reports, can and should address legal challenges on their projects. The income tax department should not behave like the hired gun. थोड़ा सा अनप्रोफेशनलिज्म एनजीओज आरोप लगा रहे हैं एजेंसी पे. अगला है एलिफेंट इन द रूम. शेल्विंग लेटेस्ट एलिफेंट सेंसस शोज गवर्नमेंट कंजर्वेशन एफर्ट्स इन पुअर लाइट. जैसे कि हमने कल वाला आर्टिकल में पढ़ा था कि गवर्नमेंट ने एलिफेंट सेंसस को लेकर डेटा छुपाने का प्रयास करा है. It states that there is a decline of elephant population by 20% in the 5 years, which is not yet released, citing that the data is not complete as Northeast survey of elephant is not yet received by the ministry. But the concerning point here is that 20% decrease in the elephant Jammu population is a serious challenge to mitigate with. A census conducted every 5 years to measure population. After 2017, the Wildlife Institute of India, the surveying agency, changed its method from relying on direct head count on dung count of elephants. It adopted a statistical modeling approach used to monitor tigers. Its report shows a substantial decline in the animal's population could well be a reflection of the long-term status of elephant and not the 5-year census. The findings could have led to debate on the conservation of the animal, which has come in frequent conflict with humans in the last 2 decades. However, as an investigation by this newspaper shows, government has chosen to shelve the report. The elephant habitat has undergone changes in recent years due to conversion of forest areas to agriculture and developmental projects. As the WI report points out, fragmentation of habits has prompted long-ranging elephant to venture into unoccupied areas. Unable to find food or dispersal areas, the large animals became crop raiders. Population estimates that map the animal distribution and herd structure, not just in reserve forests but also in human-dominated landscapes. In 2010, the Elephant Task Force, constituted by the Government Ministry, advocated a robust science-based assessment and monitoring of the large animals. The then UPA government did not much by way of working on the panel's recommendations. The NDA government claimed that elephant data has been stabilized by the country. Its prevarication over the latest survey, however, casts its effort in the conserving the elephant in poor light, and it also goes against claimings of finding solution to human-animal conflicts. तो यहाँ पे कई गवर्नमेंट्स की गलती रही है. 2010 में यूपीए गवर्नमेंट के सामने भी ये बात आई थी कि एलिफेंट पॉपुलेशन को हमें ध्यान देना, उन्होंने इग्नोर करा. NDA government is saying that they are stabilizing the elephant population, but the data is telling something different. Human-animal conflicts, destruction of habitat, deforestation are the major concerns which are actually leading the animal to infiltrate into the human settlements, which are situated in the forest itself. In the forest itself, forest is the home of the animals. Moving forward, आर्टिकल पढ़ लीजिएगा, मैंने पढ़ा था, कुछ विशेष नहीं लगा, मगर आप चाहे तो पढ़ लीजिएगा. द अमेरिकन अल्टरनेटिव. US International Development Finance Corporation, unlike China-backed project, is in the long-term interest of emerging economies. Ami Bera साहब कहते हैं, Chinese Belt and Road Initiative, referred to as Yi-Dai-Yilu in Chinese, has reshaped global infra financing and investment. It promotes China-centered model of development, which often does not set terms with the regard to human rights, transparency of Western legal and market-based principles. BRI emphasizes flexible voluntary cooperation without the stringent legal frameworks and infra financing that host governments might find beneficial in the short term to start projects. Such a model comes with risk for participating countries. As we navigate this landscape, the US must offer a compelling alternative that prioritizes transparency, rule of law, and sustainable economical models. Projects associated with BRI have frequently led to substantial financial obligations for participating countries. These arrangements typically involve long-term repayment commitments to Beijing, creating financial dependence on the PRC China and giving the PRC significant leverage over host nations. China frequently refers to extend renegotiate loans rather than offer debt for forgiveness, thereby maintaining therefore even increasing its economic political sway over the host governments. In contrast, the World Bank and IMF have shown greater willingness to forgive debt, particularly for highly indebted poor countries. The Hambantota of Sri Lanka has become a focal point of discussion about China's lending practices and the stress they place on recipient countries. अब 17 में क्या हुआ था, श्रीलंका ने leased a 70% stake in the Hambantota port to China Merchants Port Holdings. This deal was not a debt equity swap or debt cancellation, but a separate transaction from the original loans used to construct the port. Facing a dire financial situation, the Sri Lankan government used this $1.12 billion to strengthen its foreign reserves and make short-term foreign debt repayments, rather than pay off PRC loans for the port's construction. The decision reflected Sri Lanka's broader economic problems, stemming from persistent trade and budget deficits. जैसे कि हम जानते हैं कि चाइना का एक बहुत बड़ा टेक्निक रहा है। टेक्निक क्या रहा है, अगर आप कहीं से पैसे लेते हो तो ऑब्वियस सी बात है आपको आगे तक वापस करने ही पड़ेंगे। जब कंट्रीज़ वापस नहीं कर पाती हैं तो चाइना विन विन सिचुएशन में आ जाता है। चाइना क्या कहता है कि चलो कोई बात नहीं, अब आप वो जगह हमारे नाम कर दो, यानी कि लीज़ पे ले लो। और लीज़ घूम फिर के कितने की होती है, 99 साल 100 साल की होती है, जो कि अल्टीमेटली हम सब जानते हैं कि 100 साल का मतलब ये है कि जगह उसकी हो चुकी है अब। तो चाइना first give loans to host poor countries, and when they are unable to repay the loans, it just takes over the infra development in a long term lease, not like World Bank or IMF, which forgives the debt. The Hambantota port, strategically located in the Indian Ocean, is part of China's broader geopolitical strategy to secure essential trade energy supply routes. According to estimates by CFR, China had active investment in 101 projects globally. Among these, 10 are strategically located around the Indo-Pacific and can be potentially used for naval purposes. The Hambantota port is one of them. The development of these ports, मतलब Hambantota देखिए, चाइना का ये कोई एक पोर्ट नहीं है। चाइना में लगभग इस समय 100 से भी ज़्यादा पोर्ट्स हैं। तो चाइना ने इसी तकनीक के माध्यम से अपने ऊपर टेक ओवर कर लिए हैं, ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड बनाने के नाम पे या तो टेक ओवर कर ली या फिर उनको रन कर रहा है एज पार्ट ऑफ इट्स पॉलिसी. The US-backed terminal will not serve as a panacea to Sri Lanka economic and development issues. However, it's an emblematic of how US does business in the countries looking to develop the infrastructure. आर्टिकल है न्यू नाटो चीफ इन कीव. नाटो के नए सेक्रेटरी जनरल कीव पहुंचे हुए हैं, मार्क रूट, ये आप याद कर लीजिएगा. उन्होंने यूक्रेन को लेके पॉजिटिव सपोर्ट दिखाया है. इसमें इतना ही है. How second leads to long-term increase in human mortality. The US southeast coast was rocked by Hurricane Helena over the past week. More than 200 people are confirmed dead, 100 are missing. और यूएस की बड़ी समस्या ये है कि आपको ऐसा कोई दिन नहीं जाएगा या ऐसी आप यूएस के अगर न्यूज़ चैनल्स देखेंगे या न्यूज़ अगर आपके सामने कभी आएगी तो उसमें आए दिन कोई ना कोई साइक्लोन या टाइफून कुछ ना कुछ आता रहता है, टोर्नेडो आता रहता है, सॉरी, which has a very bad impact on the cities. Stanford researchers Rachel Young and Solomon Siang tracked the effects of 501 historical storms that hit the US between 30 and 15. Especially, they analyzed how mortality rates within a state changed after it was hit by a TC, tropical cyclone. A big storm will hit, and there are all the cascade of effects where cities are rebuilding, or households are displaced, or social networks are broken. These cascades have serious consequences for public health, but these effects are hard to calculate in detail. This is why the researchers chose the excess mortality method. If mortality systematically rises after tropical cyclones conditional on the other factors, we may infer that it was plausibly caused by the tropical cyclone. They wrote. Drawing from pre-existing analysis on long-term economic impact of TCs, the researchers decided to study changes in the monthly mortality rates in states for a period of 20 years after they were hit by a tropical cyclone. They took into account the effects of previous and other miscellaneous factors such as state health care systems and demography. उन्होंने कई चीज़ों का अध्ययन करा. लॉन्ग टर्म इम्पैक्ट्स क्या हैं? स्टडी फाउंड स्टेट्स मोर्टैलिटी systematically increased for about 172 months. This excess mortality resulted in 7,000 to 11,000 excess deaths. Then what officials tallies record? Between 30 and 2015, these excess deaths amounted to anywhere between 3.6 million. Research shows that due to hurricane persists at much higher rates, not only for months but years after flood waters recede and public attention moves on, the young उन्होंने कहा कि why the long term impacts, these researchers point to a few notable factors. First, economic loss caused by TCs may lead to families exhausting their financial resources, leaving less money available for future health care. Second, TCs also led to family dispersing and thus weaken social networks that are crucial to maintain one's health. And the third, in the aftermath of TCs, government spending on healthcare may be diverted towards recovery. ये तो है कि आफ्टर इम्पैक्ट्स में बहुत चीज़ें चेंज हो जाती हैं, कई नुकसान हो जाता है. जो पैसा नॉर्मल लाइफ में ख़त्म होना चाहिए था वो अब रिकवरी और रिकन्स्ट्रक्शन में खर्च हो जाता है. ये एक चैलेंज है साइक्लोन्स के बाद यूएस के लिए. अगला आर्टिकल है इंडिया एंड द वेस्ट एशियन क्राइसिस. सुभजीत रॉय कहते हैं, फॉर द फर्स्ट सेकेंड टाइम सिंस ईरान एंड इजराइल आर ऑन द ब्रिंक ऑफ ऑल आउट वॉर ऑन ट्यूसडे ईरान फायर्ड ऑलमोस्ट 200 मिसाइल्स. जैसे कि हम जानते हैं कि ईरान ने बहुत ज़्यादा मिसाइल्स फायर करी इसराइल पे, हालांकि ऑल वर नॉट दैट मच हार्मफुल टू द इसराइल. फ्रेंड्स टू बोथ साइड्स, इंडिया का क्या स्टैंड है इस वॉर के बीच में? न्यू दिल्ली हैज़ अ फार नॉट ऑफर्ड टू प्ले अ मीडिएटरी रोल. हाउएवर पीएम हैज़ स्पोकन टू बोथ प्राइम मिनिस्टर एंड पैलेस्टाइन प्रेसिडेंट Mahmoud Abbas and Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Modi meets Abbas in the sidelines of the UNG Assembly. In October last year, Modi has spoken to Abbas to convey condolences. देखिए हमारे जो स्टैंड ऑब्वियसली है कि दोनों से मिले हुए हैं. मिले हुए इन द सेंस ये है कि दोनों से मिल चुके हैं. वी हैव कन्वेड आवर अंडरस्टैंडिंग, वी हैव कन्वेड आवर condolences to the both sides. Relationship tightrope. 6 months ago, Iran had launched a swarm of drones, ballistic missiles, and cruise missiles to the Israel in response to a suspected Israeli strike on Iranian consular building in Damascus. The wave of aerial attacks on Israel this week was in line with the Iranian response seen both in April and January. मतलब ये एक दूसरे को इनों की बात को लेके लगातार वॉर एस्केलेशन हो रहा है वहाँ पे. आगे चलते हैं. The strategic relations with Israel, especially the defense and security partnership, has grown and deepened under the Narendra Modi government. The two sides have strong shared concerns over extremism and terrorism. Israel has emerged as a major defense supplier along the US, France, and Russia. Iran, on the other hand, has been a major supplier of crude to India. Also, the two countries share concerns on terrorism emanating from Pakistan and Afghanistan. देखिए ईरान हम जानते हैं कि तेल सप्लाई यूएस तो ईरान का एंटी है, मगर ईरान हमारा सप्लायर भी है. Past tension between Israel and Iran after, for example, the attacks on Israel diplomat's wife, allegedly at Iran's behest in Delhi in February 2012, and verbal jousting between the कई चीज़ें होती रहती हैं, लोग दूसरे से लड़ते रहते हैं. इंडिया का क्या है यहाँ पे रखा? इंडिया का एन एस्केलेशन ऑफ टेंशन वुड कुड इम्पैक्ट इंडिया विद रिगार्ड टू पीपल लिविंग इन द रीजन. वो तो ऑब्वियसली बात है ही है, जो वहाँ पे रह रहे हैं भारतीय, उनको फ़र्क पड़ने वाला है इस लड़ाई से. इसके अलावा there are about 18,000 Indians in Israel, about 5,000, 10,000 in Iran, and some 90 lakh in the region as a whole. मतलब इतने भारतीय उस क्षेत्र में रह रहे हैं. The West Asian region provides India with 80% of oil supplies. 80% oil supply भारत में वहीं से आता है. A wider war will almost inevitably raise energy prices. Also, major Arab countries have been keen to invest in Indian economy. India has invested its relationship with major Arab countries, Iran and Israel. New Delhi sees the region as its Indian neighborhood and has been working in the all sides to push फॉर द इंडियन मिडल ईस्ट, एक यूरोपियन इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर, IMEEC की बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे। इसके अलावा वाई चागोस आइलैंड मैटर, वाई यूके हेल्प्स कीप्स डियागो ग्रासिया आफ्टर मॉरिशस डील, ये आप पढ़ लीजिएगा, मैंने इसके बाद करा था, अच्छा आर्टिकल है बट नॉट दैट मच कंसर्निंग टू डिवोटेड टाइम। यूके, इटली, फ्रांस, इटली बोलो फ्रांस, यूएस, इनके बहुत ऑफशोर बेसेस हैं विभिन्न देशों में, गल्फ़ में भी इनके आर्मी बेसेस हैं। इट इज़ ऑल स्ट्रेटेजिकल बेसिस, ठीक है, बहुत जगह पे बेस हैं इनके आज भी, यूके, यूएस, फ्रांस। That's all for today. Do visit our website to read latest current affairs which aren't covered in this analysis. Thanks for giving your precious time and have a very, very, very nice day.